Hi, everybody. I'm Jennifer Pertner. I've been in the travel business for 3.5 years. I absolutely love it. I've earned the IATAN card, I think 3 times officially. I don't know if I've earned it more than that, but anyway, 3 times. So today we're going to look at booking some land trips in Expedia TAAP. We're going to look at VAX, and hopefully we'll have time for RoomRes and maybe anything else we can find. Okay, so Expedia TAAP. I am going to go back to the home page. Sorry, I was looking around at things. Okay, so this bar up here is really helpful because it can bring you back to the home page anytime. You can do itinerary builders. You can look through that. I don't usually use those, although I know they've updated them since I learned how to do all this on here. So you can, go in there and play around with those. They do have quotes that you can send, reports and incentive plans. So you can look in there. If you want to dive deeper into Expedia TAAP, you can scroll down here and there's something called TAAP Academy. And you can click on that and you can learn how to do lots of stuff in their platform and get marketing assets as well, which is always, good for us to market our business. The more we put it out there, the more people are going to see you and the more trips, inquiries you'll get and book. Okay, so we're going to go back up to the top. Um, we also want to make sure we know about these buttons. I don't use the Spanish one. I just, speak English, but that's an option. And then support is a really good thing to know about. They do have a great chat system. If you don't want to, if the virtual agent can't help you with a specific problem, you can put their, agent, and they'll walk you through that. And they'll tell you if you need to talk to a real person, put agent, and then somebody will get on the phone or on the chat. I've had several different, not really problems, but just questions. And the help on here was really good. So one of them I had to change a flight, and they were able to help me, and it actually saved my customer money. So that was great. One time I had to talk to them about a car rental. So, utilize that chat box if you need to. Okay. And then here's just more good resources. Like if you have questions, um, check these out maybe first before you, um, try to get onto Discord and ask questions or ask other agents. Sometimes if your question is very specific, you might find answers in here. Um, okay, so the chat is, yeah, very good. I see your comments. All right, so let's see here. Then up here at the top, you have your trips. And if you click on that, you can find your trips that are coming up. You can click on past trips. So this was from before. You can see I've had several. I like to use Expedia TAAP for a lot of different things. Um, it's just kind of a personal preference. And you do want to kind of look at commission, right? Because I know that sometimes they pay a little bit lower tier, but I'm going to show you how to do that to help to your advantage. Okay, so and you can also, search for trips there. I don't know. Yep. Okay, so that's it. All right, so back to the main screen. We're going to go to home. All right, you have some different options here. You can do just properties, standalone rates. That's if you're just looking for like a hotel, right? You can also look at package rates, and that's if you're putting together. Okay, so this is if you're just doing a hotel through Expedia TAAP, but let's say you're booking a car rental through something else, or you're booking flights through something else, right? If this hotel is being combined with a flight, a car, some other kind of travel, um, some other kind of travel, then you can package this as a package rate. So in other words, you're putting this hotel with some other car rental, some other flight, whatever, not through Expedia TAAP, but they're going to give you a little bit of extra discount for your customer. Now, I will say, if you do that, it might not give you as much commission, right? So you have to decide, am I going to save the money for my customer or am I going to save the money for myself and or make a little more money for myself? You have to kind of know your customers, right? If your customer is like super frugal like me, they're going to want that lowest price. And if you can't give that to them, then they might not want to book with you, right? Um, or if you have a customer that, they just like the convenience that you give them, so they might be okay with, the higher commission for you, which means a little bit higher price for them, but you kind of have to just play with it, right? Okay. So then we can also book just flights and notice that they have one way up here and they have multi-city, right? So if you do multi-city, you can do here to here, you can add another flight, but this is just for flights. So through Expedia TAAP, you cannot do multi-city with flights and hotels. You can only do just flights. All right, that's kind of a tricky one. If you want to do multi-city with flights and hotels, you're going to want to use VAX, and we're going to look at that in a minute. Okay, packages. You have to have two of these highlighted for it to can be called a package. So you can do, see, it'll tell you, oh, you got to select another one. Nope. Okay, so you can do flights and cars. You can do just, car and a hotel, or you can do all three. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and do all three just to show you all the components. You can also do just cars all by themselves. You can do just activities all by themselves. You can do just airport transfers all by themselves. And then groups, I'm going to be honest, I have not done groups. So that is something that, okay, it's a whole separate entity. And with groups, with hotel rates, it is a little bit different. Like I said, I haven't dove into it, but I know that you might get a contract, and if you get a contract, you do have to have it reviewed by Archer. Okay, so we're just looking at an individual trip today. All right, we're gonna go from, I don't even know where we're gonna go. Fort Lauderdale to, let's see, let's go to uh, Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't know. Pick something. We'll come up to see you, Stephanie, somewhere. I think you're close to that. Sort of. Okay, I don't know. All right. Then, oh, it took off my Fort Lauderdale. Why? Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, Fort Lauderdale. All right, let's see what we can find. I don't know when. We're going to travel in May. I'm just picking some dates here. We'll just do two people. Okay, now this, I only need accommodations for part of my trip. I have used that. If, your people are flying in and they're doing like a cruise and you only need the hotel for one night, you click on that and then you can do their flights for the, before the cruise and after the cruise, but then you can just do one night of a hotel, or you can do, multiple nights of a hotel if you need to, right? So that's what that little button is for. And I think it also gives you the option on the next page. So let's see. Like you can always add that on later. All right, so we're going to see what they can come up with. Yeah, see right here, it still has that on there. So like once you get in here and look, you can always select that if you need to. Okay, I like to do a couple filters when I start this. Um, First, I come down here and I always choose 8 plus. Sometimes I don't like to go by stars because I don't know. Sometimes I find some pretty good star hotels, but the 8 plus I always feel like gives me a better range of what I'm looking for. And again, you can filter these if your client wants breakfast included, all inclusive. Oh, there's an all inclusive in North Carolina. That's interesting. I might have to check that out. But anyway, so different things, right? That come up. If you want to be by a specific location, that's right here. If you want a specific room type, that you can look here. You have to be careful though, because the more filters you put on, the more restrictive it's going to be, and then you might not have much to choose from. So I usually don't put a whole bunch of those on at the beginning. I do usually click hotels because I don't usually book like homes or Airbnbs or VRBOs through my customers just because I don't know. I have my own personal opinion about those. I feel like a lot of times there's extra cleaning fees that are involved. I've heard lots of horror stories, so I guess I'm just a little partial to hotels. You're more than welcome to do whatever, you want or what you think is best for your customers. Okay, then we're going to scroll down a little further and look right here. Commission tier. This is really important. So, some hotels will give you what's called basic commission. That's the lowest. Basic plus, a little bit higher, premium, and then premium plus. I always click on premium and then I go down and I click premium plus because I want to see what are the hotels that are going to give me those higher commissions, right? This option will not be available if you click on that package button at the beginning. Okay, so again, it's up to you how you want to do it. Then I like to go over here and I say low to high because I want to see what's my least um cost for a hotel in this area that has an 8 plus rating, right? And then it's going to pull these up. And then I like to look at the map. All right. And I go into the map and I look and see where do I want to be, right? Do I want to be right in downtown Charlotte? Do I want to come? Doesn't look like there's much right in downtown Charlotte. So that's not going to happen. Do I want to be over here by the airport? Do I want to be um or I don't know. Let's see what else we got around here. Over here we got looks like we got a cute little city, Gastonia. So that's an option. There's a few of them there. We also have some up here. So again, you're going to just click on or look in an area, right? That you're wanting to look at. So sorry. Okay, so moving back over here. Oh no, let's look right here. We got a Costco. We got a Walmart Center. All right. Oh, premium outlets. That's fun. You could go shopping. Okay, so I might just look over here. This looks like Top Golf. That's probably going to be in an area that's a nice area where there's going to be different things. So we have three different hotels. I'm going to click on this one. We've got the Hampton Inn, Charlotte Steel Creek. That's where we are. And here, okay, that's a 9.0. That's a really good rating, more so, right? Let's see. And it has breakfast included with a pool. This one is Spring Hill, so that's a Marriott. And this one is a Holiday Inn. So you can see the difference in prices too. Now over here, there's a 488. I might click on that and just see what it is, right? Okay, 8.2. All right, here's a 477. Let's see what that one is. All right, True by Hilton. That's still like a nice, nicer hotel. So you can kind of use this price guide to tell you, all right, which ones are going to be more, like this is going to be your least expensive. This one over here is going to be one of your more expensive ones, right? So then I might just make myself a note, like jot down, I'm going to pick three. True, this one's kind of in the middle of those two, Spring Hill and Hampton Inn, right? So I'm going to jot those down. Let me do that real quick. We got True. What do we say? Spring Hill and Hampton Inn. Oh, my kitty wants to come. Oh, he sees the birds. Yep, there's birds out here. Okay, I always like to quote the highest option first. So then you're going to just come down here. And now you're going to look at the rooms, right? Well, you can always look at what the property offers. If you're putting this into like Google Docs where you're making your own, quote, you're going to want to copy and paste some of this information, right? Whatever information you think um is important to your your customer to see. Okay, these are the amenities. And then over here we have about. So this is nice because it tells you what it's located by. We got a theme park. That might be good. Um, yeah, so just some different things, okay? And then, so you want to know about the property. Over here, this is nice too because it kind of tells you some other things. Like this is just a 9-minute walk, right? So if they wanted to take a nice little walk, they could walk to those outlets. Just some other things that are in the area. 12-minute drive, that's not far, right? From the airport. And there's more if you want to see more. It has a buffet breakfast that's included, so that's important. You want to make sure you let your customers know. Okay, so then you're going to scroll down and find a room. This one has a king. Now, this is accessible. You have to be careful because if your customers are not, if they don't need accessible, you are not supposed to book accessible. So if they are like, if they have a wheelchair or a walker or a scooter or whatever, and they need that, then this would definitely be the right option, right? But if not, you're going to come right over here to the next one and you're going to choose that one. This says mini fridge, pet friendly. They probably all have that, right? I mean, yeah, let's see if it tells more details. So then you can always click on more details and it's going to tell you information. There you go. Mini fridge, microwave. Those are important for some people if they want to be able to, keep their leftovers or heat up food in the room depending on how many days they're staying. All right. And then, oh, that one even says refrigerator and microwave right there. All right, so these look like good options. And then again, you're going to just click one. If you need more, here we got two queen beds. So that's going to be a little bit more money. But if we only have two people, you probably want a king. But if you have like a family, then it'll come up. Okay, so we're going to select this one. That said they have two left. We're going to select that one. Now it's going to come up now we're going to pick the flights, right? So let's see. Again, you can use your filters. Do you want nonstop? I always like nonstop. So I'm going to click nonstop. You can filter out certain airlines, or just choose if you want a certain airline. And again, the class. So you can use your filters. Let's see here. We got Spirit. They're going to be your cheapest, but then when you add on the seats and the check-in, checked bags and all that extra stuff, they end up being the same price as the other flights. So if that's, something to know, right? You definitely want to know that stuff. American is going to give you more little bit more with your money, right? You're going to probably get, let's see if we click on that. Okay, so then when you click on a flight, it's going to come up with different options, okay? And this is where you're going to want to make some decisions for your customers or talk to them about this, right? Are they going to want to choose their seats? If they're like my family, we like to sit together on the plane. We don't want to be all spread apart. So we like to, choose our seats. I have to hold my husband's hand, when he flies because he gets a little bit nervous. But anyway, and then so you do get a personal bag, you do get a carry-on with American. That's where you're getting a little bit of extra, right? And then here, changes are not allowed if you book basic economy. But if you book the little bit higher one, higher priced one, then you get your seat choice included and you can make changes to the airfare if needed. Okay, so maybe we'll select that one. I do like to sometimes screenshot that and put it on my quote. I think it tells us to at the end, but we're gonna see. All right, flight home. I did American. I'm gonna probably do American again. Geez, it's so much more expensive if we're going on that American. Coming home. Whew, that adds a lot. But okay, so you can choose. You don't have to do American coming home if you want to do, the Southwest. You can change. Just know that then your customers are gonna have to, have one ticket from American and one ticket from Southwest. So I'm just gonna choose Southwest again. This is just for, practice. All right, you could also use this as a mock booking, right? So if you like put this all together, you would put this, copy and paste all the components, and then put it into a mock booking. All right, so economy. Here we've got a tiny little Chevy Spark for 25. The mid SUV is only a little bit more. I'm probably going to pick that one. I know me personally, I like to have that little bit bigger car. I will tell you, I will not book with the car rental Sixt. I don't know how you say it, Sixt. I tried to do one through Expedia TAAP and they, oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. So I just will not book with them. You see this package savings right here? When I booked that car rental through Sixt, it would take that package savings off and then it would only reserve the car rental. It wouldn't reserve the flights or the hotel. And so I then went in and tried to do it again. And every time I went in to try to do it again, it did the same thing. It would take off the package savings. It would book the rental car, but it would not book the hotel or the flights. And I ended up having to go back and like cancel several car rental reservations because I didn't realize that's what it was doing every time I would say book. So I just refused to use them anymore. And I know another agent used them, and then the customers used it. And then when the customers were finished, they ended up with this astronomical bill from Sixt and said they had all these extra charges. So I just will not use them. So just FYI. Okay, so then you're just going to put in all your travelers' information here. Okay, and then here I like to scroll, I like to open these little things up, and then I like to take a screenshot of this and add it to my quote. So you can, kind of do whatever you want to do, right? Like sometimes I might not open up the SUV, but I do want them to see what the information is for the hotel, what the information is for the flight so that they can make a decision if this is a good one, for them. If you're doing this as a mock booking, you're probably not going to put all this information in, right? Because you're basically doing all the work and they could then just go and book it. So you might just say, flights, hotel, whatever, and then put your price if it's a good price, whatever you think. Okay, now this is where your commission is. So here you can see they are paying you 6%, but it is on the total amount. So you're getting money on the flights and the car rental and the hotel, which normally we don't get commission on flights, but this might be a little bit more than if you just did the hotel and the car rental at 10% or at, 12%. But again, you have to just kind of play with that and see. Okay, so then that would be one option I would give them. And then I would go back to here and I would click on my next option. I usually would do the lowest one next. We would do the same things. I would go through, find their room. Um, that one's accessible again. So we're going to go over here to king, or you could do two queens. Okay, so in this case, the two queen bed is not more expensive. So that could be an option if your customers wanted that, whatever. And then you would pick the flights. If I was doing this as like a giving them three options, I might select a different flight this time, right? And say, okay, this is another option for a flight. Um, and then again, when you click on a flight, it's going to tell you what's included. So for Spirit, you don't get the seat choice, you don't get the personal item. You can upgrade and do all those things, add all those things on, right? You get a personal, a carry-on. You still have to pay if you check, but when I was just looking at some Spirit flights and it's about the same. It comes out the same price. So, if you want to have those upgrades, and then on your way home, oh, they do have a Spirit flight. Okay, but it seems to be more expensive. That's interesting. Then this one is a nonstop. Well, not much. So again, you can choose what you want to do. If you want to leave them on Spirit, for both ways. That way, they're just having to go to one flight place to check their bags and stuff like that. It's kind of. All right, now this is saying, oh, -30. Yay, that's fun. They could have an open air all terrain. That would be fun if your customers wanted a Jeep. Okay, so anyway, you can just pick one and then it goes to the next screen and you've got your final info for that one. Okay. And then again, you would do the same thing with your middle of the road. I find that a lot of customers, if you give them a high, a low, and a middle, a lot of times they'll go with that middle one. And it just depends, I guess, location and all that stuff. But okay, so you would just go through and do that again. I use Travefy for my quotes. You do have to pay for that, so it's a little bit of a business expense, but it is a tax write-off. So again, I would just put the three options in Travefy and then I send them a decision. If you're not using Travefy, whatever you're using in your quotes, after you've given them the three decisions, the three choices, let them know that you're expecting them to make a decision, right? Say to them, "Oh, I can't wait to see which option you choose," right? Because you're basically telling them, "All right, look, I put all this work in, and now it's your job to choose one," right? And then I also like to tell them, like, this is not set in stone. If you want to find a different location or a lower cost or whatever, like we can always look at different options, right? I am expecting them to book it with me, but I'm willing to work with them to tweak it, and make it exactly what they want. So those are just some booking tips. Okay, so that's basically Expedia TAAP. I will also mention that Archer Travel has a 21-day booking policy, and if you are booking a flight or any kind of trip within 21 days, with certain vendors, you have to turn in the 21-day, you have to go through the 21-day booking process. Expedia TAAP is not one of those vendors. So if you have that person that for sure it's not a scam, it's not fraud, anything like that, you can do Expedia TAAP within those 21 days and not have to turn that into Archer. All right, so now we're going to look at VAX. And VAX, that is one of the vendors that you have to turn in the 21-day policy with Archer. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of these. Oh, there must be another kitty outside. My cat just went running. He's looking for that kitty. He wants to go get him. Okay, let's see. Oh, maybe it's just a squirrel. I don't know. We're going to go down here to VAX. I have all my stuff bookmarked, guys. This keeps me organized. If you don't have your bookmarks, make sure you do that. Okay, VAX. Archer's number goes right in there. Okay, we're going to scroll. We're going to look in here. There is a lot of information in VAX, lots and lots and lots. I'm going to do quick, show you how I send quotes through VAX. But man, there's so many things that you can go through, right? But I'm going to go ahead and just um, I'm just going to do a booking like I would if I had someone that called me for an all-inclusive. I like to use VAX for all-inclusives because it includes the hotel, the transfer, the flights. It has everything together. I can send them a really nice quote right from VAX, and it's very quick. So I'm going to say Cancun. This is where I'm going in a couple weeks, everybody. Yay. Let's do my dates. Let's see what they have. I don't even know. I'm going the 3rd through the 7th, and we'll do 2 rooms. I have a kid, but he's coming with us. You can choose to put travel protection. Okay, I will give you my experience with travel protection through VAX. They have 2 options. They have a travel credit. So if your customer has any problems or needs to cancel, they can, but they have to then get a travel credit. And that credit has to be used through VAX. To me, that's kind of inconvenient. They also have a cash payout, which is much higher of a cost for your customers. So I usually do not include the travel protection through VAX. I send them my tin leg because I just feel like it gives them better options. Okay. And I make commission on that, right? So we're going to look through here. I think you might make commission on this. I'm not sure. But Max is always slow. These are just things I've learned as I've gone, right? Like do it and learn as you go. And then I've just decided it's not worth my headache um in for some of those things. So I just like to do the least headache, you know? All right, so here we go. We got some different resorts. Let's figure those out. Again, I like to come down here and I like to do 4 star and 5 star. If they're going to an all-inclusive, I'm gonna go ahead and do um those higher choices. You can filter this by adults only, or we do want to do an all-inclusive if they want to be on the beach. That's important. And then yeah, if you want adults only, you can do adults only. It's up to you. Okay, so then I go up here again and I say low to high because I want to see what's my lowest option. And then you can always go to the map and look because, some of these, like this one, that's not bad, 6 miles from the airport. But look at this one. This one's 55 miles from the airport. That's going to be a long drive, right, for your customers. But maybe they want to be at a very secluded, place. Like, I don't know. It's up to them. Tulum is a beautiful area. So you might want to they might want to take that hour drive from that airport. That might be something they want. So you can look through these. You also want to take note of these, like this has 15% hotel commission. Here this one has lots of wave bonus options. So you kind of want to look and see which ones. You also want to know your customers. What's the vibe they're looking for, right? If they want more of like a party scene and more of a nightlife, more I don't know what the right way to say it is. But just, that they want dancing and they want the music at night and all the entertainment. You might want to go with like a Ryu or find some other ones that fit that description. And you can use ChatGPT to find that. You can, look at reviews to find that information. You can ask other travel agents, whatever you want to do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to pick this one, select, just to show you how I do the quotes. Now that one had a deluxe double room. We can go back and look at the rooms. I forgot to mention that. Okay, let's see. Spirit. Spirit does fly to their nonstop because that's where I'm going. Let's see here. Okay, nonstop. We got 3 options. Yeah, JetBlue was price was down today, so I might be booking that one. I don't know. I haven't decided which one I want to book. Okay, so these are you want to note these bulk or published fare, bulk fare. Those published fare is fares that everybody out in the, can book. The bulk fare, I believe, is I could be wrong, but I think it's fare that VAX has, just VAX, or like I said, I'm not 100% sure. But the sooner, like the farther out you book, the better prices you can get on the bulk fare. Hmm. Okay, so let's just pick one of these. I don't know. Okay, this one looks good. Select. So see, this one doesn't pop up with your options that you can have for Spirit. So in this case, it's automatically putting them in coach. I don't know if it's maybe because that's all they have. Okay, so this one has 2 different times to come home. And I also feel like sometimes it's tough to get some of the flight information, like what's included with their stuff through VAX. Um, but you can always go to the airline and look and see. Like you can go to the airline and say, all right, this is coach, and it'll tell you what do they get in coach. Okay, I do want to note these features down here. They're going to have shared transportation is included, right? And then it has your required for travel. If you click on features, it's going to come up with, oh, here, we got some down here, some excursions, right? I think, oh, sorry. I think it also comes up with your travel protection. Yep. Okay, so here we have a full travel credit. So that's what I was telling you was the credit, and then this is the cash refund. So you can see it's like $100 more per person, I believe. So, yeah. So you can choose if you want to put those in. This is a during travel protection plan. So anyway, you can look at some of the different travel options. We got accessible transfer. You can also upgrade your customers to a private transfer. If they don't want to do a shared transfer, you can choose to upgrade them and it'll tell you how much. You just have to select the date um, for that round trip private transfer, right? Shared is going to be included, but if they want to upgrade to private, you can add that on. Here we got car seats. Okay, so these are some of the excursions. There's a pirate dinner show. You can just book a voucher for them. This would be nice if you wanted to just give your customers like a gift, right? Like I like to include onboard credit for cruises, but if you're not sure what they want to do, you could always give them an excursion voucher, but make sure they do want to go on an excursion, right? They might not want to leave the resort. They might just want to stay there. So that might be wasted if they don't want to go anywhere. Hmm. Okay, we got all kinds of different things here. You just click on, okay, there's two. You say add to cart, and then it adds it. Oh, it takes forever. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of different options. You could see all the options down there. You can add those on. All right, so now we basically have our package over here, okay? You can see that options is where we put that excursion, okay? I like to explain that to the customers. And then this breaks it down the price per person. That's nice if you want to do like a mock booking, right? And then here it does have additional baggage charges. And again, yeah, see, it doesn't really tell you. You have to like go to the airline and check into it. Okay. If you click right here, booking administration, this is where it's going to tell you your commission. So this commission is 243. And again, that was on an all-inclusive. So you can also add commission to this. You just click set commission and you put in your amount right up here, right? You can either increase it by money, like you can just say $50, add on $50, or you can say a percentage and you can say add on 5%, 3%, whatever you want to do, and then it'll add it on. Okay. So that's if you want to add on extra commission, if you do like a service fee, or if you do, booking fee or a what do they call it? Quote, like research fee. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. I also like to save the itineraries just to um, have them in case I want to go back and look. And then here I'm going to email or print this itinerary. So this is what I would send to my customer. I click on email. Right up here, I'm going to look for an email. I'll just say my husband's. And then I always like to send it to myself because when I get back on the phone with that customer, I want to have that quote in front of me, right? So I always send it to myself. You can add more people if you need to. All right. And then down here, I don't even remember what the name of this hotel, this one was, but I usually put whatever the all-inclusive hotel is, and maybe like Spirit Airlines or whatever it is, right? And then you might say quote or whatever. You can name the subject, whatever you want. Okay, here's a little blurb that they put in. I always take this part out because it says Archer Travel, but I like to put in my own. Thank you for reaching out and allowing me to help with your vacation or whatever you want to say, right? Use ChatGPT if you want. Um, I like to say this option has blah, 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 whatever, right? You can tell them whatever room you chose. You can tell them why you chose that room. You can tell them, um, you know, what the flights are, if there's good things about the flight, if there's bad things about the flight, whatever. You just put in whatever you want. And then I always leave in that all prices listed. This talks about travel insurance. So again, I take that out and I would add in like my tin leg um link right in there, right? Okay, and then this is going to have lots of information. I also like to tell my customers that they can click on this hotel title in their quote to get more information about the hotel, and it gives them everything. I love it. All right, and then down here, I usually just say, thank you again, Jennifer, JP Elite Travel, right? That's the name of mine. And then I would say, preview it. It does say Apple Vacations, which, oh well, whatever. So then this is what they're going to see. Okay. And then this is nice too. It tells them they're going to, have to pay this amount at the destination so that it's not like shock. They're not shocked. Oh, GR Solaris. Okay. I did want to show that I forgot to say about the hotel and the room type. Let's look at that real quick. We're almost at an hour. I know it takes a long time. But I would go back and I would do that for two more and then I would send those, right? So I would send them like three emails with the quote all in it because it has all the information, which is why I really like it. Okay, so in this uh hotel choice, you can click right here on deluxe double room. Okay, and this is going to give you a lot more information about the hotel. You can find some great pictures right here if you want to copy and paste those pictures into your quote. It's going to tell you, okay, this came up with rooms, but if you click hotel details, it gives you lots of good details. All this information is in that quote that we just put together for them. The amenities, all this is in there. Dining, okay, they tell the different restaurants that they have. So different things that they get. Activities, this tells, okay, if it has that little asterisk, I think it means that's more money. Yeah, gambling. They're not going to pay for your gambling. Oh, here it says fees may apply. Shucks. All right. Anyway, okay, rooms. So this is a deluxe double room. All right, that's just probably your regular, yeah, double beds. Then we go down. Okay, this one's a lagoon view, so you can have a double. You can have the deluxe, oh, double lagoon view is right here. So here it is, here, select zero, and this one has a higher price. I am going to be honest, I don't know why it's higher. There must be something else that's added in, right? So you can just go in and look and see what it has extra. This one's an ocean view, so that's going to be a little bit more. I mean, I don't know, maybe this one's just like a little bit better location. You know what I mean? It might just be, it still has the lagoon view, but maybe it's a better location. Um, all right, then we go down. We got some more lagoon views. Notice it says all inclusive, included. Here's another ocean view, and then they've got a ton that are unavailable. So you can, choose according to their price range. This was it was just a couple weeks away. So yeah, they probably have like a swim out, ocean front. Oh, maybe they don't have a swim out. Yeah, so some of them do, some don't. Okay, so that's how you find the different rooms, right? You can also find that on the final on that final I think there's a place to click on the room and then you can just go straight to room and choose a different room if you want to on that final um did we say email? Oh no, that's gonna just pop up the yeah, I'm closing that up. Okay, so when you go to checkout is what I was meaning. All right, so that's basically how you're gonna do um VAX. And in this case, you're sending them like three separate emails. So I always like to put somewhere in that description, like, I can't wait to see which one you choose, something like that, right? Okay. Um, we don't have a lot of time left. I think I'm gonna, I don't know if I want to pull up. Let me see if I can. I like to use RoomRes for booking hotels. You can't do flights through them, but I do like to use them for hotels because I'll tell you why. Because you accumulate points in RoomRes and you make commissions. And you can use those points towards your own personal booking. So like I used points to save me money on a hotel that we stayed in when we were out west this summer. But then I also made commission on it, and I still make commission on the bookings that I book with them. So for this one, you can do hotels, you can do transfers. They do have attractions like excursions or tours or, you know, tickets of whatever kind. Car rentals. Oh, and then they have a separate thing for tours. So yeah, this could even maybe be theme parks. I'm not sure if they have like, you know, we might need to look and see if they have Disney and some of that stuff, right? I don't know, but there's a lot of different theme parks that are not Disney. So anyway, okay. Again, this one automatically includes the package rate. They're not going to lower your commission because you're including it in a package rate. So again, I like, that option. But for this one, it's pretty simple. It's very similar to Expedia TAAP. You're just going to go in and put where you're going, your dates, whatever, and you're going to search hotels and then you can just choose them and you can copy and paste and put that information into your um, quotes, right? They do a quote and I have not honestly used it very much. But I have I did see somewhere that it does come up with a pretty nice quote. So if that's something you want to, look into, you can definitely do it. I always like to send the quotes to myself so that I see like what's on the quote, right? And then you can decide if it's something you want to use or put it onto, send it straight to your customers or if you need to like tweak it and, put your own information on it. Yeah, I don't have um anything in here. Oh, the curtain, sorry. Okay. So, all right, this is something I must have had held and I didn't. Yeah, I haven't didn't do that one. Okay, so that's all that I have for um booking those few of those land trips. If you are looking for flight information, you can go to Downtown Travel. That's one that you can do just flights and you can actually add commission to it. So, definitely something to check out if you want to piece together a trip for your customers. So you can use, flights from downtown travel, book the hotels through RoomRes, and then you can always look here for tours, attractions, or use Viator or, Project Expedition, any of those to book other tours and attractions. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. And yeah, thanks for watching.